rise, awaken, ignite, tremble, not in fear, but in recognition. The world has always been watching, and some eyes are sharper, colder, and more calculating than you ever imagined. There are forces moving in silence, assessing, measuring, judging, not your mistakes, not your failures, but the raw, unrefined potential that pulses beneath the surface of your skin, vibrating with unclaimed power, waiting to erupt. The kind of power that terrifies those who are already dominant, who have carved influence with precision, who understand the stakes, who see threats not in the obvious, but in the possibility of you. You are a storm they cannot yet control, a spark they cannot yet extinguish, and they know it. The moment you stop underestimating the weight of being watched, the moment you realize someone dangerously influential has already clocked your potential, your life transforms. Because the most dangerous people are not those who confront you openly, but those who study quietly, whose strategy is patience, whose patience is preparation, whose preparation is calculated, whose calculation sees your every move as either a stepping stone or a threat. And right now, they see you, and maybe, just maybe, you don't realize who's watching you. Maybe you think you're invisible. Maybe you comfort yourself in mediocrity, thinking the world is too busy to notice. But they have noticed. They have been observing the subtle twitch of your ambition, the trembling excitement when you glimpse possibility, the moments when your eyes light with ideas that could shift balance, that could turn chaos into creation. And this is why you are no longer just living. Now, you are being measured. You are not alone in your own life because someone, somewhere, has recognized the weight of your potential, and they are waiting to see if you will claim it, if you will awaken fully, if you will rise or remain stagnant. And here is the truth, the unvarnished, raw, electric truth. The moment you understand someone of immense influence is watching you, is the moment your life stops being small. It becomes dangerous. It becomes significant. It becomes something that can rewrite the narrative of not just your existence, but of those who underestimated you. So, pause, breathe, feel your pulse. And if it quickens, good. That is not fear. That is recognition. That is the sound of your own potential screaming to be noticed. Now, I need you to lean into this moment, to feel it deeply, because this is where most people fail. They see the eyes upon them, and they shrink. They see influence and power, and they lower their head, pretending the attention is a burden instead of an ignition. But not you, not anymore. If you are hearing these words, if your chest tightens with awareness, then you are alive in a way most people never are. And here is what you must do. Embrace it. Stand tall in the face of observation. Understand that influence does not intimidate you unless you allow it to. Understand that the recognition of your potential is not a threat unless you decide it is. Because the truth is, the one who watches has a vision. Yes, but that vision is not yours. They see a possibility in you, a seed of brilliance, and now it is up to you to either become worthy of their gaze or crumble under the weight of their expectation. And believe me, this is a choice that will define everything. So, here is the first brutal lesson. They are not watching to reward weakness. They are not watching to admire hesitation. They are watching because they sense the storm within you, the fire that could burn brighter than their own. And they are waiting for you to either rise and acknowledge it or falter and give them reason to dismiss you. And in that waiting lies the darkest, most beautiful truth of all. You have the power to outmatch their expectations. You have the ability to make them take notice, not just because of what they see, but because of what you unleash. And that is the moment that separates those who are eternally ordinary from those who are remembered as extraordinary. Ordinary people are consumed by doubt. Extraordinary people are consumed by recognition of their own potential. And right now, you are at that crossroads. Right now, someone dangerously influential has already clocked your potential, and their eyes are upon you, burning into the very fabric of your being. Do you feel the pressure? Good. That pressure is not meant to crush you. It is meant to forge you. Take a moment. Feel the weight of their gaze. Let it sink into your bones. And here is the second lesson. The lesson most people never learn. This is not about them. This is not about proving anything to the world or to those who are watching. This is about proving everything to yourself. Because when someone powerful observes you, the question they ask is not, will they succeed? But, will they recognize their own power before I have to push them? And that is where you step in. This is your stage. This is your proving ground. Every decision you make from this moment forward carries a magnitude that most cannot comprehend. Every step, every thought, every breath of courage is being evaluated. And every step you hesitate is a step that feeds someone else's patience. And yes, if you are hearing this and feeling that fire, you should pause just long enough to subscribe, to comment, to join a space that acknowledges your awareness. Because you are not alone in recognizing this strange, terrifying, beautiful intensity that is building inside you. Let the world see your reaction. Let the world see your commitment. Let the world know that someone who is aware of their own gravity is awake and moving. And here is the truth you must swallow. They are watching not because they want you to fail, but because failure is meaningless to them. What terrifies the truly influential is not failure. It is unrealized potential. It is brilliance left dormant, genius untested, power untapped. They see it in you, and if you are honest with yourself, you see it too, trembling in moments you try to ignore it, erupting in flashes when you feel unstoppable and alive. This is why you cannot turn away. This is why you cannot pretend to be ordinary when the extraordinary is quietly staring back at you in the mirror every morning, in the reflection of your own restless eyes. They are watching, and this is your chance. This is your invitation to rise. But here is the darkness in the offer. Rise or remain invisible. There is no middle ground. There is no excuse for mediocrity in the presence of attention. You are now part of a narrative that is larger than yourself, a narrative that includes calculation, strategy, and ruthless assessment. You are being judged not by what you do occasionally, but by what you could do relentlessly. And the ones who are watching, they already know. So now, understand something crucial. This is not motivation in the gentle sense. This is a call to war, not against others, not against circumstance, but against the part of you that fears recognition, that shrinks under weight, that doubts the electricity that courses through your veins. Every hesitation you have, every whisper of self-doubt, every tiny act of complacency is recorded, noted, measured. And yes, it is terrifying. That is the point. The kind of influence that matters is not passive. It is relentless. It is aware. It is cold in observation, hot in expectation. And right now, your life has been thrust into a crucible that you did not ask for, but that you cannot escape. Someone dangerously influential has clocked your potential, and their gaze will either ignite you or make you disappear. There is no neutral ground. Do you want to know the secret? The secret is that being watched is not punishment. It is opportunity. It is the rarest, most precious chance to see yourself as someone truly capable, someone whose life could bend reality, just by refusing to yield. They are watching because you have something others cannot replicate, because your potential is dangerous, because your mind moves in angles they have not yet anticipated, because your presence has gravity that challenges theirs without confrontation. And the choice is simple but brutal. Will you honor that attention with action, with audacity, with relentless pursuit? Or will you crumble, letting them take note of weakness instead of brilliance? And you must understand, brilliance is not a gift. It is a decision. It is a daily act of recognition, defiance, focus, and courage that most will never summon, that most will never dare to cultivate. You see, those who are dangerous and influential are never impressed by idle dreams. They are impressed by those who act despite the fear, who carve paths in the dark, who refuse to be invisible even when every reason exists to blend in. They are impressed by fire that is disciplined, by potential that becomes precision, by courage that refuses to bow. And this is your moment of truth. When they watch, they are watching the moment you decide what kind of life you will live. A life of hesitation, of quiet despair, of ordinary insignificance, or a life that disrupts, a life that commands, a life that cannot be ignored because it refuses to obey the rules of those who underestimated it. Your potential is now a threat, not just to yourself, but to the very architecture of complacency around you. And that is the thrill, the terror, the gift. Every second you wait, someone else measures, judges, calculates. Every second you hesitate, opportunity drifts past. Every second you doubt your capacity is a second that fuels their patience. And they are patient, unimaginably patient. They understand the weight of preparation, the slow burn of watching, the precision of recognition before action. But you are alive now. You are aware. And awareness is the first step to danger, to power, to becoming more than anyone, including yourself, has dared to imagine. This is not a gentle wake-up call. This is a shock. This is a challenge. This is the moment you realize the world's most influential people have already begun to notice your life, and they will remember how you respond. You must never forget, they are watching, not for the ordinary, but for the extraordinary. They see sparks where you see shadows. They see angles where you see dead ends. They see far where you see struggle. They see you, and that sight alone can change everything. But change demands courage. Change demands relentless movement. Change demands that you stop shrinking from your own gravity. They do not need you to succeed. They need you to awaken. And once awakened, your life becomes a testament, not just to possibility, but to the terrifying, intoxicating reality of what happens when someone refuses to hide from the gaze of influence. And so, I ask you to consider this carefully. Will you be observed and remain ordinary? Will you be counted and dismissed? Will you be measured and fade into expectation? Or will you embrace the gaze, ignite the potential, step into the light of recognition, and move with a purpose that cannot be ignored? The choice is yours, but remember this: someone dangerously influential has already clocked your potential. They are watching, they are waiting, they are calculating, and your life, right now, is the arena. So rise, not for them, not for the world, not for validation, but for yourself. Rise with the awareness that your existence carries weight that cannot be measured by idle minds. Rise with the intensity of a fire that refuses to be hidden. Rise with the quiet, terrifying knowledge that someone powerful has seen you, and now it is up to you to become the person they imagined, the force they sensed, the phenomenon they have been waiting for. Let their gaze become the pressure that forges you, the fuel that propels you, the mirror that reflects the limitless power you have ignored for far too long. Because in the end, the darkest, most electrifying truth is this: the eyes upon you do not define you, but they reveal you. They reveal your strength, your vision, your fire. And if you choose wisely, if you choose relentlessly, if you choose without hesitation, you will not just live under observation, you will thrive under it, unstoppable, unforgettable, untouchable, in the only way that matters, by being undeniably, frighteningly, magnificently yourself. Every day you wake up, you are surrounded by distractions, by voices telling you to be small, by systems built to keep you ordinary, by routines designed to dull your edge. But someone influential has already noticed that you are different. That alone is dangerous. They see the way your mind curves around problems that others freeze at, the way your intuition picks up patterns unnoticed by anyone else, the way your ambition refuses to be contained even when the world whispers for you to settle. And that recognition, quiet, unspoken, observant, is the spark that can either ignite a wildfire or consume you in hesitation. Understand this clearly. They are watching, not passively, not casually. They are watching with intent, with focus, with an awareness that you cannot afford to ignore. And that knowledge is both terrifying and beautiful. It is the knife edge where potential meets action, where dreams are tested, and where destiny whispers your name. Feel that whisper. Lean into it. Let it sink into your chest and awaken something in your bones that has been lying dormant for far too long. Because the eyes of influence do not lie. They do not flinch. They do not forgive weakness. Every thought you dismiss, every opportunity you delay, every fear you indulge, it is recorded, weighed, measured. And somewhere in the shadows, someone is thinking, analyzing, calculating whether you will rise to meet your own magnitude. That is not pressure. That is opportunity, brutal, relentless, pure opportunity. And if you allow it, it will transform you. It will sharpen you. It will drive you beyond everything you once thought possible. Do not waste a moment thinking they are bound by mercy or patience. They are patient because they understand that power is honed, that greatness is tempered, that potential is nurtured with scrutiny before it is unleashed. And now, you are in the crucible. This is where ordinary people break. This is where dreamers hesitate, where the timid hide, and this is where you either prove yourself or become invisible. And let me tell you something crucial. Invisibility is not neutral. It is a loss, a surrender, a slow fade that leaves you unnoticed, unmeasured, unlived. But you are not meant to be invisible. Not anymore. Someone has seen you, someone powerful, someone dangerous in their influence. And their gaze, whether you like it or not, is a mirror that shows you who you are, who you could become, and who you are hiding from yourself. And here comes the cruel beauty of the moment. The pressure is real, but the reward is unmatched. To be observed by someone who knows what power looks like is a rare gift. Most people live and die without ever being recognized for what they are capable of. But you have been recognized. And that recognition is not casual. It is deliberate. It is meaningful. It is a signal, a challenge, a test, and an invitation. And you must respond, not in timid steps, not in small gestures, not in half-hearted attempts, but in full, unrelenting force. Because the moment you hesitate, The moment you allow doubt to creep in, the moment you convince yourself that ordinary is enough, you betray yourself. You betray the very fire that someone has already seen in you. Let that sink in. Feel it burn. Let it make you restless, uneasy, alive. Because being watched is not about fear. It is about accountability. Accountability to yourself, to your vision, to the force inside you that cannot be ignored. And yes, it is terrifying to be seen in your entirety, to have someone notice the breadth of your potential. But there is a thrill in it too, the thrill of knowing you have already been measured and that now it is time to act, to move, to rise, to prove that what they saw was not an accident, not a spark that could fizzle, but a fire that refuses to be contained. Every choice you make now carries weight. Every action is amplified. Every thought matters. You are no longer merely living for comfort or survival. You are living under observation, and that observation is a catalyst. It forces clarity. It demands precision. It requires courage. And if you embrace it, if you step into it fully, you will not only meet expectation, you will redefine it. Because influence is not passive. It cannot be swayed by hesitation. It respects decisiveness, intensity, audacity, and all of those qualities are already within you, waiting for recognition, waiting for the moment to burst into action. Do not waste energy worrying about judgment. Do not obsess over what others might think. Judgment is irrelevant. Observation, however, is transformative. Because when someone powerful notices you, they are seeing not just what you are, but what you are capable of becoming. And that capability is a responsibility, a burden, a sacred trust. To ignore it is to betray yourself. To embrace it is to claim your life, your power, your significance in a world that would rather you remain small. And let me remind you, you are not small. You are the sum of every untapped potential, every thought yet acted upon, every spark that has refused to die. And now, someone influential has seen it. And seeing it is just the beginning. The next step is action. Relentless, fierce, unapologetic action. Understand that the eyes upon you are not idle. They are not casual. They are sharpened by experience, honed by observation, refined by strategy. They will notice weakness. They will note hesitation. They will calculate every misstep. And they will notice brilliance too. And brilliance is what you must cultivate. Not luck, not charm, not comfort. Brilliance, the kind of force that disrupts patterns, that changes outcomes, that reshapes everything in its path. And the choice is yours. Will you hide your brilliance, dim your fire, shrink from the responsibility of being observed? Or will you rise fully, embrace your magnitude, and move with a certainty that cannot be ignored? Do not underestimate what is at stake. This is more than a moment. This is a pivot, a turning point, a reckoning. The path before you is not easy. It is not safe. It is not guaranteed. But it is yours, and it is only yours because someone influential has recognized what most never will: the gravity, the fire, the unstoppable force that resides within you. And they are watching. And you, if you dare, can become more than they even imagined. But only if you act. Only if you rise. Only if you embrace the weight of recognition and transform it into unrelenting momentum. So now, I challenge you, do not shrink. Do not hesitate. Do not pretend that this is a game you are merely playing. This is your proving ground. Every move you make, every decision, every ounce of courage, every refusal to settle, it is all being recorded in the ledger of potential. And when you look back, you will see clearly who you became under the gaze of influence. Did you rise or did you fall? Did you honor the fire or did you let it smolder in silence? Did you awaken or did you hide? The answers lie in action, in relentless pursuit, in refusal to allow the recognition of someone powerful to go wasted. Every heartbeat is a countdown. Every thought is a signal. Every hesitation is a wasted opportunity that cannot be reclaimed. And someone influential, someone with eyes sharpened by power, by strategy, by experience, is watching, noting, measuring. They are not here to coddle, to comfort, or to celebrate idle dreams. You know what's funny? They thought they could break you, thought they could crack your spirit, watch you crumble, and laugh at the rubble they made. But here you are, standing, breathing, existing. That's what eats them alive, that you're still here. See, they didn't want you broken. They needed you broken. They needed to see you on your knees, begging for mercy, pleading for relief from the weight of the world they thrust upon your shoulders. They wanted to watch you fail. They wanted to see your fire snuffed out, your hope diminished, your will to rise shattered. They wanted to break you in ways that would make you question your own worth. They wanted to destroy the very thing that made you unyielding. But the joke's on them, because they underestimated the one thing they didn't factor into the equation: your unshakable calmness. They didn't realize that your strength wasn't in loud resistance, wasn't in frantic fights or outbursts of anger. They didn't understand that your true power lay in your silence, in your ability to absorb the blows and stand firm without a single crack. They wanted to see you scream, to see you collapse under the pressure, to see you crumble and lose yourself in the chaos they inflicted. But you didn't. You stood there, calm and composed, a quiet storm beneath a placid surface, and it drove them crazy. When they pushed and prodded, when they threw every insult and challenge your way, they thought they were getting to you. They thought that eventually their venom would sink deep enough to corrupt your soul. But they failed to recognize that your calmness wasn't weakness. It was the armor you forged in the furnace of pain and struggle. Every insult, every threat, every attack only added another layer to that armor, making you stronger, more invulnerable than they could ever imagine. They wanted to break you, but you became unbreakable. And that's what drove them to madness. They could not understand why you didn't bend, why you didn't break. They saw your calmness as a sign of defeat, a sign that you had given up. But they were wrong. What they failed to see was that you weren't submitting to the chaos around you. You were mastering it. You were allowing the storm to rage, knowing that it would pass, and you would still stand when it was over. They wanted you to show weakness, to beg for relief, to crumble under the pressure. But all they saw was your unwavering stillness, your resolute silence, and it terrified them. They knew deep down that the calm you exuded was not a reflection of defeat, but a manifestation of something far stronger. They knew they could break everything around you, but they could never touch the core of who you are. They wanted you broken, but your calmness shattered them instead. In their desperation, they tried everything. They pushed your buttons, tried to provoke you, to make you react, to make you show even a hint of the weakness they so desperately craved. They wanted to see you unravel, to see you scream, to see you give in to the chaos and the pressure they so eagerly applied. But you didn't. And every time they pushed harder, every time they intensified their efforts, they only revealed the depth of their own insecurity, their own fear. They thought they could break you by breaking your spirit, by attacking your sense of self. But what they didn't understand was that your spirit wasn't fragile. Your spirit wasn't something that could be shattered by words or actions. Your spirit was the very thing that allowed you to endure, to rise above the storms they created. And when they failed to break you, they had to face the truth. They were the ones breaking, not you. It's a strange thing, isn't it? How the ones who try to break you are often the ones who end up broken themselves. They come at you with their weapons, with their sharp words, their manipulations, their deceit. They think they can tear you apart piece by piece, that they can grind you down until you have nothing left. But what they don't realize is that every strike they make, every attempt they make to destroy you, only brings them closer to their own undoing. They want you to crumble, but in their pursuit of seeing you fall, they reveal their own crumbling nature, and all you do is stand there, unaffected, calm, watching them unravel in their own rage and frustration. They never expected you to be the force that remained untouched, the person who endured without breaking. They wanted to watch you lose control, to lose yourself in the chaos they created. But you remained composed, steady, a reminder that no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't defeat you, they couldn't break you. And with each passing day, with each moment you remained standing, their power over you diminished. They wanted to break you, but it was their own grip on you that slipped. Your calmness, your resilience, your ability to remain untouched by their hate and manipulation became the very thing that broke them. They don't understand it. They don't understand how you can withstand so much, how you can endure without falling apart. They think that because they have hurt you, because they have attacked you, you should be a broken, hollow shell of who you once were. But what they don't realize is that you've become something greater than they could ever comprehend. You have become a force of nature, untouchable, unyielding, unbroken. And every time they try to push you, to break you, they only reveal their own weaknesses, their own inability to see the power that lies in stillness, in silence, in the strength of a spirit that refuses to be swayed by the turbulence around it. They wanted to watch you crumble, to watch you break under the weight of their hatred and cruelty. But they didn't realize that your strength wasn't in how loud you could scream, how much you could fight back, but in how calmly you could stand in the face of it all and keep moving forward. Your calmness is what terrifies them. Your ability to remain unshaken in the face of adversity is what eats away at them, because it reminds them of their own inability to control the forces they try to manipulate. It's your stillness that unsettles them, because they know that no matter what they throw at you, no matter how much they push, they can never break you. And that is their greatest fear. In the end, it's not the loudest voice that wins, not the one who fights the hardest, but the one who can stand the longest, the one who can endure through everything without losing their sense of self. They thought they could break you, but they didn't realize that their attacks only made you stronger. They wanted to watch you fall, but all they did was push you to become something more than they could ever imagine. They wanted to break you, but your calmness broke them instead. And as they watch you now, still standing, still breathing, still existing, they know the truth. They couldn't break you. And in their failure to break you, they have broken themselves. They wanted to destroy you, but all they did was create the conditions for your growth. They wanted to see you fall, but all they did was build the foundation for your rise. And now, as they sit in the rubble of their own making, they can do nothing but watch as you continue to stand, stronger than ever, while they crumble beneath the weight of their own desperation. They wanted to break you, but your calmness broke them instead. And now, you stand, unshaken, untouchable, victorious in the silence that they can never understand. This is the very silence that haunts them, the one they hoped would crack under the weight of their taunts and schemes. They thought they knew what would make you falter, They thought they had the map to your destruction, to your downfall. But they failed to see that your true strength was in your quiet resilience, in the patience that allowed you to endure everything they threw at you. They don't understand why you never broke, why you never reacted. And that is what eats them up inside. They thought they could force you to react, to give them the satisfaction of seeing you crumble. But instead, they found themselves consumed by their own failures, their own inability to understand the depths of your strength. They wanted to see you burn, to see you lose yourself in the flames of their hatred. They thought their words, their actions, would be like fire that would destroy you, reducing you to ashes. They believed that you were like everyone else, that their cruelty would cause you to scream, to lash out, to beg for mercy. But when the fire came, you didn't burn. You didn't crumble into a heap of despair. Instead, you stood tall, unmoved by their scorching flames. You became like the iron that is forged in the hottest furnace, only growing stronger under the heat. The very thing they hoped would break you was the thing that made you unbreakable. The fire they thought would consume you only served to sharpen your edges and fortify your will. They don't understand what it means to have an unshakable core, to have something inside of you that no amount of external force can touch. They've tried everything to get to that part of you, the part they could never see, the part they could never reach. They don't realize that they were never meant to. That part of you was forged through every hardship you've ever faced, every challenge you've ever overcome. They think that if they can destroy your body, your mind, your spirit, they can somehow diminish that core. But that core is the very essence of who you are, and it's untouchable by their petty cruelty. It's something they can never destroy, something that remains intact no matter how hard they try. They see the calmness in your eyes, the stillness in your soul, and they mistake it for weakness. But this is where they failed the most. They've never understood that true strength doesn't need to shout. True strength doesn't need to react. True strength is quiet, composed, patient. It waits, it endures, it absorbs the blows and stands firm. They thought that by pushing you to your limits, by pushing you into a corner, they could break you. But instead, they pushed you into the person you are today, the person who can withstand anything. And the more they tried, the more they revealed their own insecurities, their own fears. Because in the end, it's not about how much they can hurt you. It's about how much they reveal about themselves in the process. When they see you now, standing tall, unshaken, they are filled with a sense of disbelief. They can't comprehend it. How is it possible that after all they've done to you, after everything they've thrown at you, you're still standing? They thought they knew you better than anyone. They thought they could predict your every move, control your every response. But they didn't account for the fact that you were never playing their game. You weren't reacting to their moves. You were playing your own game, one that they could never understand. And now, they're stuck in the wreckage of their own making, confused and defeated by your unbreakable calm. But there's something more to your silence, something that goes beyond just standing firm. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you move through the world now, as if nothing can touch you. You've learned to move with grace through the chaos, to navigate through the storm with a steady hand and a steady heart. You've learned that while the world can throw everything at you, it can never make you lose your way. You've learned that true strength comes from within, not from external forces. You've learned that nothing anyone says or does can take away your peace, your sense of self. And that is what terrifies them. They wanted you to break because they couldn't fathom a world where you were untouched by their cruelty. They couldn't stand the idea that someone could endure so much and still remain unbroken. They thought that If they could just push you enough, they would reveal the cracks beneath the surface. But there were no cracks, no hidden weaknesses, no points of vulnerability. You were not the fragile thing they thought you were. You were the solid rock beneath the surface, the unmovable force in a world that wanted to see you bend and break. And now, as they watch you from their shattered perspective, they can do nothing but seethe with the bitter knowledge that you are stronger than they could ever hope to be. There's a power in knowing that no matter what the world throws at you, no matter how much pain or suffering you experience, you are not beholden to anyone's expectations. They wanted to control your reactions, to make you feel helpless, to make you feel small. But what they never realized was that the more they tried to break you, the more they revealed their own fragility. It wasn't you who was falling apart. It was them. They are the ones unraveling, slowly but surely, because they can't deal with the reality that you won't break, that you're immune to their attacks. They wanted to watch you fall. They wanted to watch you beg. But instead, they are left with the haunting image of your unflinching calm, your unwavering strength. The more they pushed, the more they exposed their own desperation. They were trying to break something they could never understand, something they could never touch. And now, the very thing they tried to destroy has become the very thing they cannot defeat. Your calmness, your inner peace, your strength, those are the things that broke them. Because when you refuse to be broken, when you refuse to be controlled, it's not just your own spirit that triumphs. It's the realization that they have no power over you. Their words, their actions, their schemes, they mean nothing because they are powerless against your stillness. They thought they had it all figured out. They thought they could manipulate you into breaking, into doing their bidding, into showing them some sign of weakness. But every time they tried, they were only pushing against a force they couldn't possibly comprehend. They didn't realize that your silence wasn't surrender. It wasn't submission, it was strength. It was defiance, it was power. And the more they pushed, the more they tried to force you into their mold, the more they exposed their own powerlessness. Now, they watch from the sidelines as you continue to stand, unshaken, untouched, unbreakable. They watch as you rise above the chaos they created, as you move forward while they remain stuck in the past, caught in the wreckage of their own failures. And they can do nothing but watch because they can't touch you. They can't make you fall. They can't break you. And that's what truly terrifies them. That's what eats them alive. They wanted to see you broken. They wanted to see you begging. They wanted to see you fall. But they didn't get the show they expected. Instead, they got a front row seat to your transformation, to your evolution. They got to watch as you became someone they could never defeat, someone they could never control. They thought they could make you weak, but all they did was make you stronger. They thought they could break you, but all they did was break themselves in the process. Now, as you stand, victorious in your silence, they realize too late that the war was never about what they did to you. It was about what they failed to do to themselves. And in the end, it was their own hatred, their own desperation, their own insecurities that led to their downfall. And all you did was remain calm, unshaken, and untouched. And that, in the end, is what truly broke them. The simple realization that you were never going to break, that no matter how many attacks they mounted, or how deeply they tried to plant their seeds of doubt, you remained untouched. You remained steadfast in your purpose, unwavering in your commitment to your own peace and strength. That truth is what broke them. The truth that they were never as powerful as they thought. That no matter what they did to you, they would never have control over your soul. And deep down, they knew it. They knew they were powerless against someone like you. The lies they fed themselves, the illusions of power, of control, began to crumble. They thought they could manipulate you, twist you into submission, push you to the point of despair where you would beg for their mercy. But when you didn't give them what they wanted, when you didn't react the way they expected, they began to unravel. You see, their strength was never their own. It was borrowed, built on the foundation of others' fears and insecurities. They thrived on making others doubt themselves, making others feel small, weak, insignificant. But when they met you, when they tried to break you, they faced a mirror. They saw in you the strength they lacked, the unwavering foundation that they could never build for themselves. And that's when they realized the cruel truth. They weren't breaking you, they were breaking themselves. It's ironic, isn't it? They thought they were in control. They thought they could dictate the terms of the battle, set the rules, make you dance to their tune. But what they never accounted for was the power that comes with remaining silent in the face of chaos. They thought you needed to shout, to fight, to scream for validation. They thought you had to react, had to show them that they had gotten under your skin. But instead, you showed them something far more powerful. You showed them that you could endure without giving them the satisfaction of seeing you crack. You showed them that they couldn't touch the part of you that mattered. And that was their undoing. They thought they could break your will, crack your confidence, shatter your spirit. But they didn't realize that your will wasn't fragile. They couldn't see that your spirit was built from the same material that forms mountains. It wasn't something that could be crushed by their words, their manipulations, their calculated attacks. Your strength was not a visible thing, not something they could physically break with a punch or a slap. It was something they couldn't touch, something they couldn't break with anything they had in their arsenal. It was in your heart, in the quiet defiance that radiated from your every action, from the way you simply kept going, kept moving forward, kept existing despite everything they threw at you. Your strength was in your ability to stand without giving them the satisfaction of seeing you fall. They wanted you to doubt yourself. They wanted you to question your own worth. They wanted to tear apart your sense of self until there was nothing left but the echoes of their cruel words. But they didn't realize that every attempt to break you only made you more resilient. They thought that if they stripped away your confidence, your sense of self, they would leave you hollow, empty, begging for their approval. But they didn't understand that you were never seeking their approval in the first place. You were seeking your own. You were seeking to find your own peace, your own sense of worth that didn't rely on their validation. You were seeking the strength that came from within, the strength that would never let you crumble in the face of their hatred. They thought they could wear you down, that the constant barrage of negativity and cruelty would eventually crack your resolve. They thought that they could slowly chip away at your foundation, piece by piece, until there was nothing left but rubble. But what they didn't understand is that you weren't built on fragile ground. You were built on a foundation that couldn't be eroded by their words or actions. You were built on the quiet knowledge that no matter what they did to you, they could never take away who you were. They could never take away your self-worth, your integrity, your inner peace. And when they saw that you weren't crumbling, when they saw that their attacks were doing nothing but bouncing off you, they began to break themselves. It's a funny thing, really. The people who want to break you, who try to tear you down, often end up destroying themselves in the process. They expend so much energy trying to force you into submission, trying to make you bend to their will, that they forget one very important thing. True power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling yourself. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and never wavering in your beliefs. And when they failed to break you, when they saw that their control over you was slipping away, they began to panic. They began to turn on themselves, questioning their own worth, their own strength. They couldn't understand why you were still standing, why you hadn't fallen. And in their inability to comprehend your resilience, they began to crack under the pressure of their own inadequacies. They wanted to break you, but they couldn't see that you were never the one who was fragile. You were never the one who needed fixing. They were the ones who were broken. They were the ones who were fragile, insecure, unable to bear the weight of their own actions. They thought they could break you by making you question yourself, by stripping away your confidence. But they didn't understand that confidence isn't something that can be given or taken. It's something that comes from within. It's something that's forged through every hardship, every trial, every moment you choose to rise instead of fall. It's something that no one can take from you. And the more they tried to break you, the more they revealed their own weaknesses. They thought they could control you, that they could dictate how you would react, how you would bend beneath the weight of their cruelty. But they didn't realize that true power lies in your ability to choose how you respond. They thought they could break your spirit by pushing you to the edge, by testing your limits. But instead, they pushed you to discover something far more powerful within yourself. The ability to remain calm in the face of chaos, to rise above their petty games, and to move forward without being dragged down by their hatred. Your strength wasn't in your ability to fight back. It was in your ability to simply keep going, to keep moving forward, regardless of the obstacles they placed in your path. And in that quiet determination, they saw something they could never understand. A power that wasn't dependent on their approval or their control. And as they watched you continue on, unmoved by their attacks, they began to question themselves. They began to wonder why their efforts were failing. They began to see the truth, that their cruelty wasn't making you weaker. It was making you stronger. It was strengthening your resolve, fortifying your spirit, making you unbreakable. And that realization, that truth, is what broke them, because they couldn't stand the idea that they had no power over you. They couldn't accept that their efforts had only served to make you more resilient, more determined, more unwavering in your strength. And in the end, it was their inability to control you that destroyed them. The more they pushed, the more they tried to tear you apart, the more they revealed their own desperation. They were so desperate to see you fall, so desperate to see you crumble, that they failed to see the truth right in front of them. You were never meant to fall. You were never meant to break. You were meant to rise. And as you continued to rise above their cruelty, to move forward with unwavering determination, they began to understand, too late, that they had been defeated long before they realized it. They had already lost when they chose to engage with you in the first place. Because you were never playing their game, you were always playing your own, and they could never understand the rules. And that, in the end, is what truly broke them. The realization that they had no control over you, that they could never break you, and that no matter what they did, you would always rise above. That truth was their undoing. It shattered their illusions of power and control, and as they sat in the rubble of their own making, they knew one thing for certain. They had failed to break you, and in their failure, they had broken themselves. In the end, their attempts to break you only revealed their own weaknesses. They sought to control you, to shatter your spirit, but instead, they encountered a force they could never understand, your unwavering strength and resilience. What they thought they could break you with cruelty and manipulation, all they did was expose their own desperation. You remained unshaken, unbowed, and unbroken. And in that silence, in your calm, you won the battle they could never truly fight. The truth is, they never had the power to break you, and it is that realization that ultimately destroyed them. Power rises, shadows listen, destiny trembles, Sometimes all it takes is a moment of silence to hear the truth that the world spent years trying to bury. A truth whispered behind closed doors and dim corners. A truth they never wanted you to discover. The truth that you are not ordinary. The truth that you are not predictable. The truth that you are not the version of yourself they wrote in their stories. They expected you to fold. They expected you to break. They expected you to vanish into the very noise they created to drown you. But you didn't. You stayed. You held on. You kept walking. And because you kept walking, the streets went full, unpredictable mode, and the whole city began to talk, like the ground itself shook. When your name came up, they kept saying you didn't make it. They kept swearing you were finished. They swore you didn't stand a chance. But destiny has a way of surprising those who speak too early and underestimate too quickly. If this message strikes something real in you, then breathe slowly and let these words settle inside your chest. And if you feel this emotion right now, if you feel this fire, if you feel this energy and this truth, please show your support by subscribing, liking, and dropping a comment, because your presence here means more than just watching. It means you are ready to rise. It means you are ready to claim something bigger. It means you are ready to declare to the world that your story has only begun. Your interaction helps the message reach someone else who might need it today. So thank you for being here on this path. You see, the world has a strange relationship with people who refuse to give up. It praises them after they succeed, but mocks them every step before that moment arrives. When you were quiet, they said you were weak. When you were patient, they said you were lost. When you were building, they said you were wasting time. They judged your silence without understanding it was the silence of preparation, not surrender. They judged your absence without realizing it was the absence of someone sharpening their purpose. They judged your slow pace without knowing you were saving energy for a sprint they could never match. People only see what you choose to show, but they comment on what they assume to know, and assumptions are the cheapest currency of those who never tried to rise themselves. The streets talk loudly, but the streets understand quietly, and somewhere between those loud echoes, a rumor was born. A rumor that the crime boss, the kingpin, the one who once dictated the rhythm of the shadows, looked at your path and said you were an anomaly, not an enemy, not a rival, not a problem. An anomaly, something that does not follow expected rules, something that cannot be predicted, something that cannot be controlled, something that cannot fit inside any category. When a person of power calls you an anomaly, it means you are different in a way that even the architecture of darkness cannot contain. It means your rise is not normal. It means your strength is not typical. It means your presence shifts the atmosphere. You are not a formula to be solved. You are a force to be understood. But before this moment, before the whispers, before the recognition, before the tension in the streets, you walked through days where nothing made sense. Days where doors refused to open. Days where your heart felt heavy and the world felt louder than your courage. You carried weights no one saw and held battles no one knew about. You kept waking up even when hope felt distant. You kept moving even when results didn't show. You kept believing even when doubt tried to become your language. You kept fighting the invisible storms and kept healing from invisible wounds. People think your journey began at the moment they started noticing you, but your journey was forged in the very nights no one remembers. You grew in silence, and silence grows some of the strongest warriors. Silence teaches patience. Silence teaches clarity. Silence teaches you to understand yourself when the world is not listening. Many fear silence because in silence they hear their own limitations. But you stood in it and you faced every thought, every memory, every insecurity, and you didn't run. You confronted them, and that confrontation became your strength. The streets only saw the surface, but they never saw the battlefield inside your mind where you learned discipline, determination, and dignity. And now, that same mind is impossible for them to decode. They swear you didn't make it because they cannot understand the process you walked through to reach this moment. Their imagination is too small to grasp the magnitude of what you built. Their perspective is too limited to acknowledge the size of your heart. They measure your success by speed, but you measure your success by endurance. They wanted proof before they believed. You wanted growth before you showed any proof. They waited for evidence. You became the evidence. They wanted assurance. You became your own assurance. They wanted validation. You created your own validation through effort, discipline, and persistence. That is why your presence feels unpredictable to them. They never accounted for someone like you. But hear this truth clearly. They will always doubt someone who carries a silent purpose. They will always question someone who carries quiet strength. They will always underestimate someone who carries patient fire. And you carry all three. That is why when you step into any place, the atmosphere changes before you speak a word. People can sense energy long before they understand the story behind it. Your energy is changing your surroundings. Your presence is rewriting expectations. Your journey is reshaping narratives, and this makes you stand out without needing to scream for attention. Those same streets that laughed once are now observing. Those same voices that doubted are now whispering. Those same people who dismissed you are now watching closely, because something about your rise feels different. Something about your silence feels powerful. Something about your resilience feels unstoppable. You did not break. You did not fade. You did not disappear. You evolved. And evolution is always louder than noise, even when it happens quietly. Walk with me through this moment. Picture the same streets that once said you were finished, now echoing differently. Picture the same voices that once mocked your slow progress, now struggling to understand your sudden rise. Picture the same shadows that once tried to swallow you, now stepping aside because you carried a light too steady to be dimmed. Picture the crime boss, the one they think controls the dark corners, the one they think understands every move, calling you an anomaly. Because nothing in his world prepared him for someone like you. That is the power of becoming yourself. That is the power of walking a path built on pain, patience, and persistence. You were sculpted by struggle. You were shaped by pressure. You were refined by storms. You were strengthened by losses. You were awakened by solitude. Every difficult moment was not a punishment. It was preparation. Every setback was not a failure. It was a training ground. Every doubt was not a barrier. It was a sharpening tool. Everything you walked through was not random. It was necessary. And because it was necessary, it built you into someone rare, someone sharp, someone unshakable. When people see you today, they see the results, but they don't see the construction. They don't see the nights you couldn't sleep because your dreams were too loud. They don't see the days you forced yourself to keep moving, even when your spirit felt heavy. They don't see the hours you spent alone, learning, rebuilding, and preparing. They don't see the inner battles you won long before the outside world noticed any victory. They don't know the courage it took to face your own reflection when you felt at your lowest. They don't know the strength it took to stand up again when life told you to stay down. But you know, you remember. You felt every moment, and each moment carved something deeper inside you. You are not fueled by applause. You are fueled by purpose. You are not guided by popularity. You are guided by direction. You are not controlled by the world's expectations. You are connected to something much more powerful, your inner truth. And this truth keeps pulling you forward, even when the world misunderstands your pace. You walk like someone who is not chasing something, but someone who is becoming something. That difference is what sets you apart. That difference is what makes you untouchable. When they swore you didn't make it, they were speaking from a place of assumption. When the crime boss called you an anomaly, he was speaking from a place of realization. Assumption is cheap. Realization is expensive. And you earn the expensive kind of recognition, the kind that cannot be erased, the kind that cannot be denied, the kind that tells the world that your story is not built on noise, but on foundation, on sacrifice, on resilience, on reality. You did not break, you broke through. And as long as you breathe, this journey continues. And now hear this clearly because it matters. The moment you rise above what they predicted, the world begins to adjust itself around you. People who once ignored you start paying attention. People who once doubted you start analyzing your every move. People who once whispered behind your back now whisper your name with caution. They are not startled by your success. They are startled by your transformation. They are confused because the version of you that walks today does not match the version they stored in their memories. You outgrew their expectations so silently that they never realized you had been evolving beyond their sight. Every time you took a step in silence, you were building a future that noise could never interrupt. Every time you stayed disciplined, when no one was watching, you were creating strength that opinions could not weaken. Every time you refused to quit, you were adding another layer to your unshakable spirit. You became someone who didn't just survive challenges, but absorbed them, shaped them, and turned them into something that fuels you instead of breaking you. That is why the world feels unprepared for your presence now. You carry too much truth, too much depth, too much clarity for them to categorize. You became the version of yourself that the old you once doubted but still dreamed about. And this version of you is not built from luck. It is built from endurance, built from experiences that tried to crush you but ended up refining you, built from moments that tried to silence you but ended up strengthening your voice, built from lessons that were painful yet necessary, built from a heart that refused to give up even when giving up felt easier. That is why when the streets look at you now, they cannot speak with the same confidence they once did. Your existence challenges the very narratives they created. You see, the reason your rise feels so powerful is because it does not come from ego. It comes from survival. It comes from growth. It comes from the quiet decision you made on a day no one noticed. The day you said to yourself, "I am not staying where life left me." The day you told your pain that it would not be your destiny. The day you looked at your own reflection and said, "There is more for me." That day changed everything. That day planted a seed that grew in the dark, and only now is the world being forced to acknowledge the roots of who you have become. And here is the truth that many people fear, but you embraced. Transformation is uncomfortable. It demands sacrifice. It demands losses. It demands distance from people who cannot grow with you. It demands courage to step into new versions of yourself. But you embraced every discomfort because you knew your future was worth more than temporary ease. You understood that growth does not happen in comfort. It happens in challenge. It happens in pressure. It happens in those lonely spaces where you confront the truth of your life and choose to rise. Now, when they say you didn't make it, they are speaking from old memories. They are speaking from old assumptions. They are speaking from a version of you that no longer exists. They are trying to hold on to a story that time has already rewritten. They are trying to define you using chapters you have already surpassed. And that is why their words no longer impact the way they once did. You have outgrown their limits. You have outgrown their doubts. You have outgrown their expectations. And now you walk with a depth they cannot interpret. The city itself feels different when you walk through it. The same streets that once felt overwhelming now feel smaller because you have grown larger inside. The same roads that once exhausted you now feel manageable because you carry a stronger spirit. The same shadows that once intimidated you now move aside because they recognize your light. This is what happens when you rise. The world does not change. You do. And because you change everything around, you respond. The crime boss calling you an anomaly was not an insult. It was a confession. A confession that you do not fit into the system he understands. A confession that you move differently, think differently, endure differently. A confession that you were shaped by something deeper than circumstance, something more powerful than opinion, something more real than fear. He saw in you what even you once struggled to believe. He saw that your path is not written by the world. It is written by the strength you forged through every hardship. And maybe that is why the world feels the shift now. Your presence no longer blends in. Your energy no longer hides. Your story no longer apologizes for its depth. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to become everything you always had the potential to be. People do not fear your rise. They fear what your rise represents. They fear the truth that someone who was counted out still found a way. Someone who was underestimated still prevailed. Someone who was dismissed still built something extraordinary. Your story reminds them that their excuses have no foundation. Your strength reminds them that giving up was a choice. Your journey reminds them that resilience is possible. You did not rise to inspire them. You rose because you refused to fall. But your rise will inspire many. It will show people that impossibility is not a wall, but a mirror reflecting their own limitations. It will show people that even when the streets go into full chaos, you can still find a path. It will show people that even when others swear you are finished, you can still determine your own outcome. And it will show people that when someone powerful calls you an anomaly, they are acknowledging something extraordinary inside you. So keep walking, keep building, keep rising. You have come too far to shrink now. You have grown too much to hide now. You have survived too many storms to fear the rain now. You are not at the end of your journey. You are at the beginning of your awakening. The world has finally noticed what you have known all along. You were never ordinary. You were never predictable. You were never meant to blend into the background of anyone's expectations. You are meant to rewrite the script. You are meant to reshape the atmosphere. You are meant to rise in a way that makes the world pause. They swore you didn't make it, but they spoke too soon. And your story is only beginning to unfold. And now the night feels different around you. It watches you, it studies you. It tries to understand how someone walked through such deep uncertainty and still emerged with clarity in their eyes. The world expected you to lose yourself in the noise, but instead you found yourself in the silence. You found a strength that did not come from the approval of others, but from the battles you survived internally. You found a purpose, not handed to you by anyone, but carved out through pain, discipline, and relentless belief. You found a sense of identity that no rumor, no doubt, no misunderstanding can remove from you now. You became grounded in who you are, and that grounding is what makes your presence feel powerful, even when you say nothing at all. You walk now with a quiet confidence that cannot be faked. It is the kind of confidence born from facing storms head on, from standing tall, even when the world tried to shrink you. It is the confidence of someone who understands that they are not defined by how others speak about them, but by the steps they choose to take every single day. You no longer need the world to believe in you because you finally believe in yourself. And when self-belief becomes unshakable, the noise of doubt becomes insignificant. It cannot touch you because you have risen far above the level where those voices operate. Those who swore you didn't make it had no idea what was happening inside you. They didn't see the inner transformation, the rebuilding, the awakening. They didn't know that every challenge they assumed would break you was instead shaping you. They didn't realize the strength you were gathering from every disappointment and every dark moment. They didn't understand that the more the world tried to push you down, the more determined you became to rise. They threw shadows at you hoping you would disappear, but you learned to navigate the dark until it became familiar. And once you became comfortable with the darkness, it could no longer scare you. It could no longer control you. Now, the same darkness that once tried to hide you stands behind you like a backdrop, highlighting your strength. The same challenges that once overwhelmed you now seem small compared to the resilience you carry. The same doubts that once haunted you no longer hold any weight. You have grown. You have expanded. You have evolved far beyond what they imagined. And because of this, they look at you differently now, not with the same certainty as before, not with the same confidence they used to speak your name. Now they speak your name carefully. Now they speak it with pause. Now they speak it with the awareness that they misjudged you. You see, once a person rises in a way that does not follow the world's expected storyline, they become a mystery. And people fear mysteries they cannot solve. You became someone whose path cannot be predicted because you do not move from impulse. You move from intention. You became someone who cannot be controlled because your strength does not depend on external opinions. You became someone who cannot be defined by past versions because you are constantly rewriting yourself. This is what makes you an anomaly in their eyes, not strange, not odd, just uncommon in the most powerful way. The crime boss calling you an anomaly was a declaration, though he didn't intend it as praise. It means you broke the pattern. It means you surpassed the limits that were supposed to confine you. It means you walked through the same system everyone else walked through, but you walked out with something they didn't expect. Clarity, power, depth, and unshakable purpose. People fear what does not follow the rules they understand. They fear what cannot be predicted, and you cannot be predicted anymore. You changed too much. You grew too far. You evolved too deeply. Your rise is not loud, but it is undeniable. It is not flashy, but it is unforgettable. It is not rushed, but it is unstoppable. And because of that, the world feels your shift even when you don't speak about it. When you walk now, you carry the kind of energy that tells a story without needing any explanation. You carry the kind of presence that makes the atmosphere adjust itself around you. Well, look at them now, desperately, trying to move on, clinging to anything or anyone who can make them forget. But the joke's on them, isn't it? Because they haven't moved on. They haven't escaped. No, they've made a new friend, a loyal and unwavering companion who's been with them every single step of the way, in their darkest moments, and it's a friend who never leaves, always there in the shadows, always reminding them of what they did, of what they could have done differently, a constant reminder of failure, a shadow that stretches long across their life, a shadow called regret. They thought they could outrun it, didn't they? They thought they could find some way to push it aside, to bury it so deep inside that it would never surface again. But regrets aren't like that. No, regrets don't go away. They don't fade into the background. They don't disappear when you look the other way. Regret digs itself in deeper and deeper until it becomes a part of you, until it takes root in your soul and in your mind, until it is as much a part of you as your heartbeat, your breath, your every thought. At first, maybe they thought they could fight it. Maybe they thought they could silence the voices in their heads, telling them they were wrong, telling them they had messed up, telling them they had crossed a line they could never come back from. Maybe they thought they could make a new start, erase the past. But no, the past doesn't let you go. That easily does it. It doesn't care how hard you try to run, how far you go. How many people you try to surround yourself with, the past is always there. And when you're alone, when you're quiet, when the world slows down and the distractions fade away, that's when regret whispers the loudest. It's when it catches you in the dead of night, when it grabs hold of your throat and drags you back to that one moment, that one decision, that one choice that has haunted you ever since. Regret doesn't need your forgiveness. It doesn't need your apologies. It doesn't need you to acknowledge it. It just needs to exist. And it will keep existing whether you want it to or not, whether you accept it or not. Regret will stay because it is the price you pay for every mistake, for every decision made in haste, for every word left unsaid, for every opportunity missed, for every lie you told, for every person you hurt, for every moment you wasted chasing something that wasn't worth it. Oh, they might have told themselves that they would never make the same mistake again. They might have promised themselves that they would be different, that they would make better choices, that they would learn from the past. But that's the beauty of regret, isn't it? It doesn't care about your promises. It doesn't care about your resolve. It doesn't care how hard you try to change. Because every time you make a new decision, you're making a new mistake. And regret is waiting for you every single time, with open arms, ready to embrace you, ready to remind you that no matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter how much you try to forget, regret will always be there to remind you of your failures, to remind you of your choices that led you to where you are today. The people they thought would save them, the people they thought would pull them out of the darkness, the people they thought would be the key to escaping their past. They only gave them temporary distractions, didn't they? They only gave them moments of fleeting relief, a fleeting sense of peace before the storm came crashing down, again and again and again. But that's the thing about regret, isn't it? It doesn't go away because someone else distracts you. It doesn't go away because someone else tells you that it's okay. It doesn't go away because you found new people to fill the void inside of you. Regret stays, and it stays with a vengeance. It stays until you face it, until you stop running, until you stop pretending that it doesn't matter, that it doesn't affect you, that you can just push it aside like some insignificant thing. But it's not insignificant, is it? No, regret is everything. Regret is the weight that drags you down, the anchor that keeps you stuck in the past, that keeps you locked in a cycle of self-doubt and self-loathing. Regret is the thing that holds you back from moving forward, from embracing the future, from finding peace within yourself. Regret is the thing that keeps you in chains, even when you think you're free. So they keep moving, don't they? They keep running. They keep trying to bury themselves in new experiences, new relationships, new jobs, new distractions, anything to drown out the sound of regret. But the more they run, the louder regret gets. The more they try to bury it, the more it rises to the surface, and the more they try to forget, the more it reminds them of their shortcomings, their mistakes, their inability to change, their inability to escape. They don't get it. Do they? They don't get that. There is no running from regret. There is no outrunning it. There is no escaping it. There is only acceptance. There is only facing it head on and acknowledging that it is a part of you now, that it is something you carry with you every single day, and that the only way to move forward is to accept that you've made your choices. You've paid the price, and now you have to live with the consequences of your actions. But they can't do it. Can they? They can't face it. They can't confront the reality of their own mistakes. They can't admit that they are who they are because of the things they've done, the things they've said, the paths they've chosen, the chances they didn't take, the people they hurt. They can't admit that their life is a reflection of their choices, that everything they are today is because of what they did yesterday. And so they keep running, they keep pretending, they keep telling themselves that they are different, that they are not the same person they were when they made that mistake, when they crossed that line, when they lost that chance. But deep down, they know, don't they? They know that they are the same. They know that nothing has changed, because no matter how hard they try to deny it, no matter how many distractions they fill their lives with, regret is still there, still waiting, still reminding them that they can never outrun their past. But here's the thing they don't want to hear, the thing that they fear the most. Regret doesn't have to be a curse. It doesn't have to be something that ruins your life. It doesn't have to be something that chains you to the past forever. If you learn to face it, if you learn to accept it, if you learn to embrace it, not as something that defines you, but as something that teaches you something that makes you stronger, something that makes you wiser, you can turn regret into something that works for you instead of against you. It's not easy though, is it? It's not easy to look into the mirror and face the person you've become because of the things you've done. It's not easy to admit that your mistakes have shaped you, but that's the only way forward. The only way to truly move on is to stop running, to stop hiding, to stop pretending that regret doesn't exist, to stop pretending that you can just forget it and make it go away. The only way to find peace is to accept that regret will always be a part of you, but it doesn't have to control you. It doesn't have to define you. It doesn't have to hold you hostage. So let them keep running. Let them keep trying to fill the empty space inside of them with distractions and lies. Let them keep trying to outrun regret, because in the end they will find out the hard way that there is no escape from it, no way to outrun it, no way to ignore it. All they will find is that regret will stay with them forever, a companion that never leaves, a shadow that follows them everywhere they go. And maybe, just maybe, when they finally stop running, when they finally stop pretending, when they finally face the truth, they will realize that the only way to find freedom is to accept the truth of their past and use it to shape a future that is not defined by regret, but by growth, by change, by the lessons learned from the mistakes they made. But until then, they will carry regret with them. They will carry it through every step they take, every choice they make, every moment of their life, because regret is the price they pay for trying to escape the truth of who they are. It's the very thing that haunts them, isn't it? The reality of the person they've become, forged by every mistake, every wrong turn, every reckless decision, every time they chose to ignore the better path. It stares them in the face every day. It's the ugly truth, the part they refuse to look at, the part they wish didn't exist. But it does. It's there. It always will be. And no matter how much they try to outrun it, to cover it up with false confidence, with new friends, new places, new distractions, it never truly goes away. It's always there, quietly waiting, lurking in the corners of their mind, reminding them that the past can never be erased, They could have been someone else, couldn't they? They could have made different choices. They could have taken that opportunity, said that thing, walked down that other road, not this one. But the truth is they didn't. They made the choices they made. They took the path they took. And now they have to live with it. There's no getting around it. That's the price they pay. The price for the careless words, the moments of weakness, the temptations that led them astray. Each decision that felt right at the time, but was wrong in the long run. Each mistake they tried to hide from the world. It's all part of them now. And no matter how far they run, it's going to stay part of them forever. But do you know what's worse? What truly stings more than the regret itself? It's the fact that they knew. They knew at some point. They knew the choice they were making, the mistake they were about to make. They felt it in their gut, that twinge of uncertainty, that warning sign that they chose to ignore. They knew, but they ignored it. Why? Because it felt easier to ignore it. It felt easier to give in to the moment, to follow the impulse, to give themselves a brief sense of satisfaction rather than the long-term peace that comes with doing what's right. They chose the easy way out. They chose the immediate relief. And now, that relief is long faded, but the consequences, the regret, it stays. And it stays for as long as they draw breath. They have moments of clarity, don't they? Those brief instances when the noise dies down and they catch a glimpse of the truth that they've been running from. In those moments, it all becomes clear. They see who they truly are, the broken person, the lost person, the person full of mistakes and shortcomings. They see themselves, not as the person they tell the world they are, but as the person they know they are deep down. The truth of their character, the truth of their flaws, their inability to change, to be better, it comes rushing in. And for a second, just a second, it's almost too much to bear. But then they push it away again. They shut it down. They distract themselves. They hide behind the people they surround themselves with, behind their work, behind their busy schedules, behind everything they can find to drown out the truth. It's easier that way. It's easier to ignore it, to pretend it doesn't exist, to pretend they're not that person, that they're better than this, that they can do better, that they will be different next time. But when will the next time come? When will the moment arrive where they'll finally make the choice they know they should have made all along? How long will they keep running? How long will they keep pretending that they aren't the person who made that mistake, who hurt that person, who wasted that opportunity, who threw it all away? What's even worse, though, is the nagging thought that perhaps they'll never change. Perhaps this is just who they are. They have tried, haven't they? They've tried to turn over a new leaf, tried to change, tried to break free from the cycle of mistakes. But nothing ever sticks, does it? They might have moments where they feel they're on the right path, where they feel the weight of regret start to lift, where they think, this time I'll do better, this time I'll make the right choices. But then, inevitably, something happens. They slip, they fall back into old patterns, they make that same mistake again. And when that happens, the regret comes rushing back in, even stronger than before. They begin to wonder if they're even capable of change. And that's the thing, isn't it? The longer they try to run from their past, the longer they try to hide from their regrets, the less they truly change. They think that by simply moving forward, by simply putting one foot in front of the other, that they are leaving the past behind. But all they're doing is letting the past fester inside of them. They're carrying it with them, dragging it through every new experience, every new relationship, every new venture. It's like carrying a weight that they don't even realize is there. They think they're free because they've moved on, But the truth is, they're still shackled. They're still held back by the ghosts of their past. The fear, the doubt, the shame, they never go away. They lurk beneath the surface, waiting for the moment when they'll creep back into their thoughts, their decisions, their actions. And the worst part is, they begin to doubt themselves. They begin to question if they're even capable of real happiness, if they're capable of finding peace. Every time they think they're free of regret, it shows up again, reminding them that they are not, that they can never be. Not fully, not until they confront it, not until they finally stop running. But that takes courage, doesn't it? It takes an unimaginable amount of strength to look at the worst parts of yourself and face them. It takes courage to admit, I am flawed. I have hurt others, I have hurt myself, and I can't change what I've done, but I can change what I do moving forward. But they're not there yet, are they? No, they're still running, still hiding, still trying to pretend that the past doesn't exist, that the things they've done don't matter, that they can keep going without addressing the one thing that keeps pulling them back, their own regret. They keep telling themselves that the next time will be different, that the next decision will be better, that the next choice will be the one that defines them in a positive way. But they can't outrun it, can they? Regret isn't something you can outrun. It isn't something you can avoid. It's always there, lurking, waiting for the moment when they finally have to confront it. And when that moment comes, when they are finally forced to look regret in the eye, they will have a choice. They will have the choice to let it destroy them, to let it define them, to let it drag them down into despair. Or they will have the choice to acknowledge it, to accept that it's part of who they are, and to move forward with the knowledge that they are capable of growth, that they are capable of change, that they are not doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. It's not easy. It never is. But it is the only way out. It is the only way to break free from the cycle that has held them in its grip for so long. Until that moment comes, though, they will continue to run. They will continue to chase after distractions, after fleeting moments of peace, hoping that maybe, just maybe, they can outrun their regret. But deep down, they know. They know the truth. They know that regret will never leave. It will always be there, waiting, following, whispering in their ear, reminding them of the past they cannot escape. And they will keep running, forever searching for the peace they so desperately want, never realizing that the peace they seek isn't out there. It's in here, within themselves, waiting for them to stop running, stop hiding, and finally face the truth of who they are. Only then can they truly begin to move on. But moving on isn't about running faster. It's not about outpacing the past with distractions or false hopes. Moving on doesn't mean leaving behind what has shaped you. It's about learning to coexist with it, to embrace it, to let it fuel you instead of break you. Moving on is about acknowledging regret, about accepting that it has a place in your life, but doesn't get to dictate your future. Because you see, the most powerful thing that they have forgotten, the most powerful thing they refuse to see, is that regret doesn't have to control them unless they let it. It doesn't have to be the thing that defines their identity unless they choose to make it their defining characteristic. It's a part of them, yes, but it's not the whole of them. Not anymore. That's where the true challenge lies. It lies in the choice to stop being a slave to the past, to stop living in the shadow of decisions that cannot be undone, to stop allowing the actions of yesterday to haunt the possibilities of tomorrow. It's so easy, so tempting to be consumed by the what-ifs. What if I had said something different? What if I had chosen another path? What if I had stayed? What if I had left? These questions have a way of torturing the mind, keeping you stuck in a loop of, What could have been, dragging you back over and over to moments that are long gone. And that, my friend, is where the poison lies, in the obsession with a past that cannot be changed. They can't go back. None of us can. The past is a collection of moments that have already passed. The people they were, the things they did, the words they spoke, those are all gone. They can never be recreated. And yet, so many of them waste their energy on trying to rewrite history, trying to undo what has already been done, trying to erase the indelible marks that have shaped their lives. But it's futile, isn't it? It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Every time they focus on the things they can't change, every time they replay that moment over and over in their mind, they are only adding fuel to the flames of regret. They aren't putting it out. They aren't moving past it. They're letting it consume them. The hardest part of moving on is understanding that it's not about forgetting. It's not about pretending that the past didn't happen or acting as if regret doesn't exist. It's about making peace with it. It's about forgiving yourself for being human. It's about accepting that you are not perfect. You are not some ideal version of yourself that never makes mistakes. You are someone who has stumbled, who has fallen, who has hurt others, who has hurt themselves. And that's okay, because we all do it. We all make mistakes. We all have regrets. The difference is, some of us allow regret to take over, to rule our lives, to trap us in a cycle of shame and guilt. But others learn to let go of that need for perfection, that desire to undo what has already been done, and choose to accept that they are not the sum of their mistakes. It's the decision to look at yourself in the mirror, to see all the things you've done, all the things you've failed to do, all the people you've hurt, and still choose to love yourself, to still believe that you are worthy of a future, to still believe that you have value even with all the mistakes you've made. That's the power they're missing. That's the power that will finally set them free. And it's not going to come easily. It's not going to be a simple, I forgive myself, and then walk away. No, this is the hard work of truly accepting who you are and making peace with the person you've been, the person you are, and the person you are becoming. It's acknowledging your flaws without letting them become your identity. It's looking at your past and saying, yes, I did that. But that is not who I am today. And even more difficult, perhaps, is realizing that the future will come with its own regrets. The road ahead will not be free from mistakes. They will make more bad choices. They will fail again. They will slip and fall and have to pick themselves up over and over. It's the nature of life. It's the price of living authentically, of choosing to take risks, of choosing to move forward instead of staying stuck. But what if they could see that each mistake doesn't have to destroy them? What if they could learn to embrace those moments too, to see them not as signs of their failure, but as opportunities for growth, as chances to rewrite their future by making better decisions, by learning the lessons of the past instead of trying to erase them? Here's the key. Regret doesn't have to keep them from the future. It doesn't have to lock them into a cycle of pain and despair. It doesn't have to make them think they are doomed to fail forever. The truth is, the greatest gift regret offers is not the chance to go back and change things, but the chance to do better next time. It's the opportunity to become a better version of yourself, to use the mistakes of yesterday to make the decisions of tomorrow better, to transform the pain of regret into the fuel for change. Regret is not a burden to bear for the rest of your life. It's a tool. It's a lesson. It's the catalyst for the person you have the potential to become. And so, they must stop running. They must stop looking for the easy way out, for the distractions that only delay the inevitable. Because the inevitable isn't something to fear. The inevitable is the moment when they stop running from themselves, when they stop hiding from their past, when they stop pretending that regret has all the power. Because it doesn't. They do. They have the power to choose how they react to the past. They have the power to decide that while they cannot change what they've done, they can choose who they are going to be in the future. They have the power to say, I regret that decision, but I won't let it define me. I won't let it control me. I will use it to build a better tomorrow. That's what moving on looks like. It's not about forgetting. It's not about pretending the past never happened. It's about taking ownership of the past, taking ownership of the mistakes, and using them to become something stronger, something wiser, something more authentic. The past has shaped them, yes, but it doesn't have to control them. Regret has its place, but it doesn't get to dictate the narrative of their life. They get to write that story. And if they choose to let regret shape their future rather than their past, then they can create a future that is not haunted by the ghosts of what could have been, but empowered by the lessons learned from what was. But here's the real question. Will they take that step? Will they finally stop running? Will they finally face the truth and start using regret as the catalyst for their transformation? It's a hard journey, no doubt. It will take time. It will take effort. It will take moments of unbearable self-reflection. But in the end, it's the only way forward. Because until they embrace their past, until they confront the regrets that they've been carrying, they will remain stuck, trapped in a loop of shame and self-doubt. But if they choose to face it, to learn from it, to accept it, then they will free themselves. And that's the first step towards truly moving on. And when they do, when they finally let go of the weight of regret and use it as a stepping stone for something better, something stronger, something more meaningful, they'll see that it was never the regret that held them back. It was the refusal to accept it, to learn from it, to move forward with it that kept them stuck. But once they do that, once they stop fighting it and start using it, they'll finally break free. And that's when they can truly move on. In the end, regret is not a prison. It's a lesson. It's not something to escape, but something to understand, embrace, and learn from. When they stop running from their past, when they stop allowing regret to control them, they'll find the power to shape their future. Only by confronting their mistakes and accepting who they've been can they transform into who they want to become. Moving on isn't about forgetting. It's about using the past as a stepping stone to build a stronger, wiser, and more authentic self. The choice is theirs, and it starts with the decision to stop being defined by regret and to start defining themselves by their potential for growth.